Hi Chelsea fans, it's Chels Daft here with the match preview. Burnley versus Chelsea. Turf Moor, 3 o'clock tomorrow. A pay-per-view game, believe it or not. I'm hopefully going to find a stream and I will be doing live commentary as I've done before. Check out my channel, the one I did before, the Sevilla Champions League game. You get an idea for the feel of it. 7,500 people enjoyed it, which was good to see. So I'll be doing it again tomorrow, 3 o'clock. But what is Frank Lampard going to do with the team, with the formation? Will he rotate? Will he stick with the same sort of players? Or with the games coming thick and fast with Rennes next midweek in the Champions League again, maybe it's time for some changes. Let's get into this. So I sat and watched Burnley play Tottenham the other night, and Burnley were unlucky. Tottenham won 1-0. But Burnley were unlucky and gave as good as they got for me. And you know what you're going to get from Burnley. A 4-4-2 formation, rigid, solid, hard-working, players that graft, players that work hard for each other and for the manager. And you always know against Burnley that you got to turn up and you got to match their will to win and their work ethic first and foremost. You do that, then hopefully your quality takes over. And no disrespect to them, but on paper, with the players that we've got in attacking areas, we should be considered the favourites. It's not being arrogant, to state a fact. But as with every single Premier League point in this league nowadays, you have to earn the right to win points. And you don't get points just for turning up and just with the people that you name on a team sheet. You have to earn it, you have to deserve it. And hopefully we pick a team and the formation that does exactly that. Now, if you've seen my last video posted up yesterday, I was virtually pleading for Frank Lampard to make sure that 4-3-3 is the way forward for us, and I really do believe that it is. Tomorrow against Burnley's 4-4-2, a 4-2-3-1 could become unstuck with the fact that you know they're going to have the 4 defenders and the 4 midfielders, including 2 wingers and 2 forwards, which could cause our 2 midfielders, if they're sitting in a pivot position, real problems. Last season, Christian Pulisic had a field day, scored a perfect hat-trick, and he was there expressing himself, and he did fantastically well. The other night against Krasnodar, once we made that 4-3-3 change, the attacking players were able to express themselves with the shackles taken off of trying to get back and defending, and I'm hoping we do it again tomorrow, but I think there'll be some changes. I think you're going to see Christian Pulisic start the game tomorrow on the left-hand side of the front 3. And I think you could see a change with Tammy Abraham maybe starting, or Olivier Giroud starting up front, just to give Timo a rest. He got his penalty. He's got 3 goals so far this season, played every game. Maybe it's time to give him a little bit of a rest. On the right-hand side, Hakim Ziyech should hopefully continue. He might not though, and if he doesn't, maybe Callum Hudson-Odoi starts, but it's interesting to see if the fact that he's played his first full 90 minutes or majority of the game is going to be something where we need to sort of take stock a bit, take him out the firing line, give him a bit of a breather and go again against Rennes in midweek. For me, Mateo Kovacic has got to come in. He's got to play. He's got his work ethic around everywhere, just box to box all over the pitch, is something that we need in our team. He's got to start alongside Jorginho and N'Golo Kanté. It's good to see that Billy Gilmour is only a short period of time away from returning to full fitness, which is good. But for me, it's got to be those 3 again in midfield to start with. And then you've got the option of Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. But with Mason Mount rested, could you see Kovacic, Mason Mount and Kanté with Jorginho taking out the team tomorrow? I wonder, maybe it's an opportunity. Would you rest Havertz and Werner for Burnley away? Possibly. Put them on the bench, give them a little bit of a breather. They've played most games, if not every game. So maybe it's a time to do that. Then in our back 4, expect to see Thiago Silva come back in. Would you now rest Kurt Zuma for a game, or would you play him? Who would you bring in? Would you bring Tomori, Rudiger, who played well the other day, but again, played the whole game. Can't see him playing tomorrow, bearing in mind it's his first full game he's played this season. So it's between Tomori, Zuma and Christensen for me, and I think it'll be Zuma again with Chilwell and a change Reece James maybe come in for Aspi at right back with Aspi dropped to the bench. Maybe. Burnley are a difficult team to play against, and you have to credit Sean Dyche and his players for what they've achieved. And they never seem to be in any danger. They just always seem to be there or thereabouts, will always give you a hard game. You've always got to play well against them, and it's going to be no different tomorrow. Chelsea need a performance tomorrow. I'll take a 1-0 scrappy win, of course. We all would, because it's points that count this stage of the season. We can build on the last 3 performances. 3 clean sheets defensively with different formations and different personnel. That's a plus, and it gives Frank Lampard options. But I said it in my video yesterday. He said that the 4-3-3 gave him a lot of answers to questions he'd had in his head, and I wonder if that's key for tomorrow. Hopefully it is. Hopefully we have another solid foundation to build from with our defensive line. Mendy to continue in goal, because Kepa is only just recovering from a shoulder injury, but at the moment we know that Mendy's number 1 anyway. And then we can then go again. But the good thing about Chelsea at the moment is the fact that we've got a big squad, we've got plenty of options, and we know we can make changes from the bench. Not like the Champions League where you can make 5 changes. Premier League is still only 3 changes. And it's worth noting that muscle injuries reported in the Premier League is up 42% on this time last season. Bearing in mind there was hardly any pre-season for anyone. Is that going to be a deciding factor, a stat like that maybe, in how much rotation is going to be there tomorrow? I've given you what I think, tomorrow, what will happen with possible rotation. What do you guys think? How much would you rotate tomorrow? Bearing in mind, got to be at our best every week. Would you take 3, 4 or 5 players out and change them? Would you just make a couple of changes? I think for me it's a time to rotate. No disrespect to Burnley, but we can still, with rotation, have a strong team. I just think at the moment there's a chance to rest certain players. It's noticeable that the likes of Thiago Silva, Cesar Azpilicueta, Mason Mount have been rested, and Mateo Kovacic on more than one occasion this season. Let's not forget you've got the Euros coming up end of the season as well. So it's important that players are getting to play football, but also that they're wary of the amount of games they could potentially be playing. And we keep hearing the managers talking about, at the moment for the teams in the Champions League and European competition, it's games every 3 days. For Burnley, they played the other night. They've had a complete break. So they're going to be fit, firing, rested and raring to go. So is that another reason to rotate the team? As I'm saying in this video to you, I don't plan the video. I have an idea in my head, which you can probably tell by now. And I sort of just talk. And as I'm talking, my sort of opinion begins to change. And I guess that's what you guys are like as well, right? Because at the end of the day, you can have an opinion in your head about how we are to approach the game, and then you then see the team selection. It might be a little bit different, it might be hugely different, but I'm just wondering on how much rotation. Could we see Mendy, James, Tomori, Silva, or Christensen and Silva, Chilwell, midfield 3 of Kovacic, Conte, or because Conte can always also be rested. So Kovacic, Jorginho, Mason Mount maybe to keep that ball moving in the middle of midfield, as long as Jorginho doesn't keep going sideways and backwards. And then, as I say, you could even go Hudson-Odoi, Abraham or Giroud with Pulisic coming in from the right hand side, or Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic swapping sides. That's rotation. That'll give you rotated Zuma, it'll give you rotated Azpilicueta, it will give you rotated Conte, rotated Havertz. It will give you rotated Timo Werner. 5 or 6 changes. I wonder. With Rennes coming up in the Champions League. Bearing in mind, we drew with Seville. We need to make sure against Krasnodar in both games and Rennes in both games. We need to win both of those games against both those teams, because it's going to come down to us in Sevilla as to who's going to win the group. So we need to be strong. But that's the thing this year about Chelsea. When we rotate, we're still strong. Last year, with no options really with what we had, and with the youngsters we had an opportunity to rotate at times, but you just knew we didn't have the strength we've got this year. And at the end of the day, our attacking options are frightening. The rest of the Premier League are probably looking, thinking, when this lot click, it's just going to be unbelievable. I tell you what, I'm going to go with a team now at the end of this video. It's probably going to be wrong, but this is the team I would put out tomorrow to face up against Burnley to hopefully get the job done, and this is from the start. So, Edouard Mendy in goal, left back Ben Chilwell, right back Reece James, 2 centre backs Thiago Silva, Andreas Christensen, middle and midfield Jorginho at the base, Mateo Kovacic on the left hand side, Mason Mount on the right as a midfield 3 with Kovacic and Mount box to box. Up top, Christian Pulisic left side, Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right. Up front, Olivier Giroud for his strength up against the Burnley centre backs. We do that option first, see how we do. Give the option to the 2 wingers to play into Giroud and play off of him, and hopefully see what happens. If it doesn't work, we've got the option of Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham to come on to change it, and Hakim Ziyech to also come on. Havertz, options, that's the main thing about this season. So that's the 11 that I'm going to say I would go with. Do you differ to my opinion? If you do, post your comment section below. Also, smash that like button for me if you like the video, then subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. It's a lot of waffle at times, I know, but hopefully you get the points I'm trying to make. And make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss my videos come out. I try to just tell it how it is. I'm not backed by any companies. I'm not backed by anybody else doing, the editing. I do it all myself. I work full time. I'm trying to build up my channel. So I do really appreciate you guys watching, subscribing and supporting. Thank you so much. Remember, match commentary tomorrow from me, 2:55 onwards tomorrow. And I'll try and talk you guys through the game that you won't be able to see, but try and talk you through it. Make sure you come and check that out. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Come on, Chelsea. See you tomorrow.